If you're a fan of the stock headlights on your 2015 through 17 Mustang or your 2018 and newer Shelby, but wish you could add some cool custom lighting, well then the Oracle Black Edition headlights that we have here would certainly be worth a look. Now these SAE approved lights are bristling with features like the sequential turn signals, demon eyes, and LED halos, and can be had for the low $1,200 price point. Install will be a direct swap plug and play job, so figure a soft 2 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter here, and I would say about an hour of your time to complete from start to finish. But hang with me for a bit, guys. We'll walk you through that job later in the video. So if you guys know Oracle, then you know they do produce a wide variety of custom lighting for your ride, the latest of which being their Black Series color shift headlights here for the S550, which not only allow you to create just about any color under the sun, but also allow you to do some pretty cool patterns with these lights, including strobing, color switching, soft fades, and now even the very dynamic halos, tri-bar lighting, and demon eyes. Basically, the sky's the limit when we're talking about colors with the Oracles. Now, these lights and colors are controlled wirelessly here through your Bluetooth controller or using your Apple or Android device, which is again gonna make this a very easy operation to control on the fly or whenever you're at your next show. So obviously your LED color shift functionality, I would say, is the main feature here with the Oracle, is one of the biggest pros, if you will. But I also like how they chose to load all of that cool lighting into a simple black housing, OE style housing with the clear lens that's gonna give these lights kind of a Jekyll and Hyde effect. And what I mean by that is, with all of that crazy lighting turned off, the lights seem very clean, very understated without being over the top. In fact, one of the only telltale signs these lights are a little bit different are the rings around the projectors, and you are getting some smoked reflectors on the side in place of your factory orange reflectors. But again, turn everything on, fire up those halos, start getting wild with your colors, and you can see just how radical these things can actually get. Another cool thing I like pointing out, these things are fully assembled and ready to go right out of the box. There's no need to disassemble your factory headlights, to install aftermarket lighting, reseal them, anything like that. Instead, just a direct swap plug and play job. Now, as far as your actual headlight bulb itself, well, the Oracles will reuse your factory bulbs and the HID ballast, so just gonna have to swap everything over during the install process. Also, quick heads up here, guys, these lights have been given both the DOT and SAE stamp of approval, making them legal for use in all 50 states. However, disclaimer, the strobing, color shifting halos, things like that should not be used while driving on the road. Otherwise, you might catch the attention of your local authorities, and not in a good way. But what do you say we segue into the installation? And honestly, this is gonna be a job that's not gonna be too bad overall. If you've never removed your headlights before on your S550, well, the bumper will need to come off in order to hit all of the necessary bolts and hardware. But to give you a better idea of just how easy that is, check out our detailed walkthrough and tool breakdown right now.
Tools used for this installation: test light, 3/8 electric impact gun, clip removal tool, cutter pliers, stripper and crimpers, flat blade screwdriver, 1/4-inch drive ratchet, Phillips screwdriver, T20 Torx, 13, 10, 8, and 7mm sockets, 1/4-inch drive extension, and 1/4-inch to 3/8 adapter. First thing we're going to do once we have our hood open is we're going to remove our 8 push clips on top that hold our rad cover on. We're going to take our clip removal tool, we're going to get in there, pop these out. Once we get these out, that's going to allow us to simply lift off our rad cover, which will give us access to our 7mm bolts up top that hold our bumper cover on. First thing we're going to do is follow our rubber over, and if you pull the rubber back here, you're going to see a 7mm here, and there's one on the other side. So I'm going to take my 7mm, remove that one, and now you'll just repeat that on the other side. Now that we have both our 7mm off, I'm going to remove our 8mm up top. So now we have those done. We have our front loose. We're going to work on our wheel wells and start taking them apart. Next, what we're going to do is remove our push clips. There's one here, and there's a bolt up in between these two pieces here. I'm going to show you how to get to that. I'm going to take my clip tool, pull my push clips out. That's them. So now, like I said, there's a bolt that is up inside here that we're going to get to. What I like to do to get to it is push the wheel well back like this. Now on our Mustang, the bolt is missing, but there is one right up in here. You're going to be able to get a ratchet up in there. It's pretty simple to get in there, take it out. Once you get that out, that holds these two together. Ours is actually missing. I think the clip's broke. So being that that's out, now all you have to do is give your fender a tug and it comes apart like that. And the whole fender or the whole front nose is off. And now you're going to want to repeat the same procedure on the other side. So now that we have our car up in the air, we're going to remove our splash guard underneath the front of the air dam here. Now, if you're at home, you don't have a lift, you want to make sure you jack your car up, put it on jack stands, you want to make sure it's secure. You're going to get under here. There's going to be some push clips, 7mm bolts. I'm going to start by taking everything off to get this out. That'll give us access to disconnecting the fog light or the fog lights so that we can drop our bumper down. I'm going to start by popping out our push clips. Now in our vehicle, there are some clips missing, there's some screws missing. You're just gonna go around and find the screws that hold this on up top here. You'll see some. We're gonna take all the 7mm off next, and then we should be able to remove our splash guard on the bottom. Double check, make sure I have all the 7mm out. And once I have all them out, now we'll remove our splash guard. Now with everything off, I'm just going to drop our splash guard out of the way. That's going to give us access to our lights, and we'll be able to remove our bumper. So once you undo your splash apron underneath, you're going to be able to lift up on the front bumper, pop it off. There's some pins here that it sits on. Once you get that off, you pull from the sides, it'll come down. Now, when we were underneath the car, I was going to disconnect the light harness, but on this vehicle, you're able just to sit it down. Now, if you want to disconnect it so you can remove the bumper, it doesn't hurt to just unplug it. You can take the bumper off. I'm going to just leave it hang. That'll give me access to my headlights. Now we'll start removing our headlights. So now there's 3 bolts that hold the headlight on, 2 10mm and 1 13. I'm going to start by removing the 10mm. And now we'll remove our 13. I'm going to hold the headlight, take our 13 out. And our headlight will just come right out. Now we'll just push on our clip, pop our harness out, and that will remove our headlight. Now you're going to want to repeat this same procedure on the other side. So now that we have our old headlights removed from our vehicle, we're going to have to transfer some hardware over from our old headlights to our new headlights. Our new headlights do not come with bulbs, and they do not come with this box. So we're going to have to transfer this box and the bulbs to the new headlights before we can install it. So I'm going to pop this cover off, which I did on both of ours, and now I'm going to remove this box with my Torx. Now that we have our 4 screws out, we have our module up, I'm going to take my flat blade screwdriver, remove our 2 connectors that are underneath. Pop that off. So now I'm going to pull our headlight out. You're going to squeeze your clip and then pull your light out, and then we will disconnect the light. Push in the tab. Now we have our headlight out and our module. Now we'll transfer this stuff over into our new headlight. So now we have our module out, we have our headlight out of our old. We're going to start installing it. You're going to have to reuse this wire. This kit does not come with it. So what we're going to do is I'm going to install the module first by plugging this in. Once I get that plugged in, I'm going to fish this wire down in through the headlight. You'll see there's a hole down there to bring this wire, and this is what's going to plug into our headlight then after we get our module. There is a red and black wire here that's kind of just hanging here. I don't think it's being used. It might be for a different model or something else. So now once we have our wire fished through, make sure nothing's tangled, we will install our module into place. And now we'll install our screws, tighten that up, and then we'll install our headlight. Now that I got our wire pulled through, our cover's in place, I'm going to start our screws and tighten them up with our Torx. Now we have our cover on. Now we're going to install our headlight. Now I'm going to plug our connector that we removed from our other headlight into this one. I'll fish it down in, get the wire down where it's got to go, and get the headlight in place. And once I get it into place, I'll just push it down in. Take your clips one at a time, take them in and lock them in place. We'll install our cover. Give it a turn. That locks it in. Now you're going to want to repeat the same procedure onto your other headlight, and then we're ready to install our headlights. So now we have our headlight off and we have our bumper down. This is a good time that we're going to go in and we're going to disconnect our turn signal, our marker light on the side, our driving light, and that way we can get access so we can find the wire for our turn signal. We're going to need that to hook up some wires in our box that comes with this kit. So what I'm going to do is get down, give it a turn, push the clip, pop this off. I already disconnected my driving light there so it hangs down a little bit. And then I'm going to show you what you have to do as far as searching for the wire to find the turn signal. So now with this kit, you're going to have to do some wiring. And the box comes with a couple connectors. It comes with 2 wires off the Oracle lighting box that has to be connected to the turn signals. So what you're going to do is after we just removed our turn signal, you're going to find the hot wire for your turn signal. How you're going to do that is turn the car on, turn your turn signal on, use your test light, poke into the wires. There's 3 wires in the back of this connector. I already found it. You're going to poke into it. As it's flashing, you're going to see your test light is going to flash. And once you find it, then what we're going to do is we're going to use a T-connector, this little connector right here. We're going to put that on the wire, and I already did it. You get it on, you push it down, it clicks like that. You're going to push pretty hard, you'll feel a click. Once it does that, it actually pinches into the wire, which allows you to use a spade, flat blade connector and slide into it, which will give you what your connection for your 2 wires that are coming off of that box. Now I already did it, so I already put my flat blade spades onto my 2 yellow wires coming off the box. So now what we're going to do is put the light back in, and we'll assemble the headlight, and then we'll start wiring. So now we have our headlight, we're going to install it. We're going to have this wire back here, which is our wire that gets plugged into our box. You want to make sure you keep that towards the front. We'll take our connection and connect our headlight. You'll hear a click. Now we're going to put our headlight back in place like this. Slide it in. It's 2 tabs. There's a tab up front, a tab right there. Once you have those lined up, I'm going to start our 13 on the side here. Get that started. Once I have that one started, I'm going to start my 10mm up top here. Get that one started. And then we have one on the bottom. I'll start this one on the bottom. Once I get them all started, I'm going to snug them up and take my 13mm one. Tighten that one. Switch over to our 10. Tighten that one. Switch over to our bottom one, that one's done. And now we're going to fish this wire through over to where we're going to have the box mounted. So now we have our headlight in place, it's hooked up. We have our turn signal back in place. We put our connector on there so that we're ready to wire when we get to that point. We're going to run our wire through the frame here over in front of the radiator. So we're going to have to hook this up then. This is going to be our connection. Now you want to try to keep it up so that it doesn't touch anything. There's no pinch points. So now that we have everything hooked up on this side, we have our wire fished through there, the light's hooked up, you're going to want to repeat this same procedure on the other side. So now we're going to do our wiring. I'm going to have our boxes, there's 3 of them in this kit, mount right here. Now on our vehicle, we're not going to drill holes. We're going to leave this where it is for now. On your vehicle, this box here will come with 2-sided tape. You can put on the box, make sure the surface is clean, put it there, This one I'd say put it right there. It has tabs to drill, take some self-tappers. You can get them at Advance or any kind of automotive store. This one, the same deal, has 2 holes. You can get some self-tappers, run them in, and then bolt these down. Once you get that all bolted down, then you're going to want to start doing your wiring. Now, earlier I showed you the blue connector that we put onto our turn signals, and these are our spades that come with our 2 wires that got to go to each turn signal. So I've already crimped and put our connectors on. I'm going to fish these over. One goes to one side, the other goes to the other side, and then you're going to have these 2 black connectors that come out of the box. One's going to plug into the connector that we fished through. I have them both fished through on both sides, and then the other one will connect to that, and then we'll run our hot and black wire. So I'll start connecting this, and then we'll go and I'll show you how to fish your red and hot wire to your battery. So now that I hooked our 2 connectors up here, like I said before, you're going to mount your boxes. I ran my yellow wire over and plugged it into our connector over there at our turn signal. I'm going to clean some of the wiring up here real quick and just tie it fast to this one. Use a wire tie. That way we don't have wires hanging down. Just want to make sure that nothing gets pinched when we go to put this back in, so I'm tucking it in place so it's out of sight. You can use as many wire ties as you want to make it as clean as you want. I'm going to do the same on the other side. Take this wire, tie the extra back up. End up tying it back to our other wire that goes to the headlight. Make sure we tuck it so it doesn't get pinched. So now we have that done. We're going to run our power to our battery. There's a wiring harness that goes through right here by the radiator. I'm going to fish this through. Pull it from the other side. And now we'll fish this and run this up along nicely and hook that up to our battery. So now I fished my red and hot wire up and brought it up real nice. I'm gonna put it through the cover here, install my ground on this terminal here, install my hot on the hot post. Start my 10 millimeters. Now we got all our wiring finished. We'll put our battery cover back on in place. Now we can start installing our front bumper. Now we'll reinstall our bumper cover, get it up into place. It's going to sit on the clips and the little pins that it has. Once we get it to that point, we'll start installing our sides, then we'll do our bottom, and then we'll do our top. Now that we got our front sitting on, we're going to install our side. This pretty much just pushes into place. Now remember, on your vehicle, there's a 10 millimeter up in here. You're going to want to replace that. Ours is missing, so I'm not going to replace that. You're going to push your panel back in here. Install your push clips into your inner wheel well to hold that in place. Install your bottom one. And then you you have one in here. And once you get those 3 back in, just want to make sure it pops in just like that. Again, your car will have a 10mm in here, ours doesn't. That will hold this in place. Now you just want to repeat the same procedure on the other side. Now we're going to install our splash shield. We're going to have to get it up into place. Feed it underneath our front air dam. Now on our Mustang, we're missing a lot of clips and screws, but I'm gonna put back in what I took out. If you've never had yours off, you probably have all your clips. I'm gonna start with our push pins on the side to hold it in place. I'm going to start some of our screws back in place where they were. Once I get everything started, we will run it in with our gun. I'll start some of the front ones that have clips in them. Take my gun. Once I have them all run in, our splash guard is on. Now we'll work on the top. Now that we have our bottom buttoned up, we'll install our 7mm on the side here. Now you're going to want to repeat that same procedure on the other end. Now that we have our two 7mm in there, we're going to take and put our 8mm up top, which will hold our top piece in. Use my gun to run them down in. Remember, it's plastic, so you don't have to, if you do use a gun, as soon as it stops, you stop. Now that we have that on, we'll install our rad support cover. Now we'll install our rad support cover. Sit it down in place. Put our push pins back in. Now that's in place, bumper's back on, headlights are in, that wraps up this install. Okay guys, I'm going to show you how the Bluetooth app works and the functions of this app towards our headlights. I'm going to be able to turn them on right with my phone, just like that. And then I'm going to be able to go change the colors just by using the phone and the dial on the app. I'm going to be able to turn and adjust the brightness and the speed. And I'll show you some modes. We'll go into some modes now, and you'll be able to touch the screen and just touch them and change them as you're sitting. If you're at a car show and you want to change whatever the headlights are doing, the functions are, I think there's almost like 200 different modes you can go in to change things on this. You can, as you're changing the mode, you can also change the speed, the brightness. You can change the color. It's pretty crazy how much you can do with this app, with these headlights. So once you have the app downloaded, this is the screen that's going to come up on your phone. You're going to be able to change the brightness of the lights by your phone, the speed, just by touching it. You're going to be able to put it into solid colors. If you just want a solid color, you're going to be able to adjust that color right here by spinning the circle around, and then you can go into your modes. Your modes are so many to change the different settings of how these headlights and what look you're going to get if you're at a car show and you want to just do it while you're sitting. You're able to just keep hitting and changing modes until you find one you like. It's a really cool app. That wraps up this review and install of our Oracle Headlight Assembly pre-assembled headlights, Dynamic Color Shift RGB plus A Black Edition for 15 to 17 Mustangs. Thanks for watching, and for all things Mustang, keep it right here at AmericanMuscle.com.